Hey, what's going on? Jeff Lerner here, and in this video, we are talking about how to make money online. In particular, if you're a teenager, someone who's under 18, you obviously have some unique challenges in that regard, and there's certain things that aren't available to you. So that's one of the things I love about the internet is it doesn't discriminate. It's wide open for anyone, and we're going to talk about how you can do it if you're under 18. Hey, what's up? Jeff Lerner here. And like I said, we're talking about how to make money online as a teenager in particular. And these are things, frankly, anybody can do, but I picked them specifically because you can do them if you're under 18. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a site that I found called Swagbucks. Swagbucks basically lets you, it's kind of like a cornucopia, I don't know if that's the word I was looking for, but we'll go with it. Cornucopia of different things online, kind of all brought together into one website that younger people can reasonably do. So it's got things like, taking surveys, even testing out games, even just getting paid to watch videos like what you're doing right now, only instead of me getting paid, you can get paid. It's got online shopping. And actually one of the things that I do think is pretty cool about Swagbucks is it's actually got a search bar, a search tool that you can get paid. Basically, if you use your Swagbucks search bar to do your normal internet searching, then essentially they pay you because they're able to track and research what it is that you're searching on. And that's valuable data for consumers or for consumer brands that sell to consumers. So really, really cool. Basically, things you can do that require either very little energy or very little time because they're things that you might be doing anyways, and you could just figure out how to get paid for them. Swagbucks seems, I haven't done it because frankly, I have some more lucrative things that I do on the internet to make money than I think what you can do through Swagbucks, but I've also been doing this for like 12 years. So I'm not saying don't start with Swagbucks, but I did research it. It really seems to check out. So they have a 4.3 star score on Trustpilot out of tens of thousands of reviews that I saw. And that's pretty good for a site like that makes that type of a promise like, hey, and I say that promise, I mean, just that's their offer as a business. I call that like, what's your core promise? It's like, we'll empower people to make money doing very basic, browser-based things. That's something that I could see actually pissing a lot of people off. And I just know from experience, when you talk about anything to do with making money on the internet, you get a lot of like angry people. So the fact that they have a 4.3 star score on Trustpilot, I think is pretty solid. And they've paid out over $300 million to users of the site. It's been written up in some major publications. Like I saw it on Huffington Post, saw it on Forbes. The way you get paid is depending on the offer, whatever the thing is. Like if it's a survey, you might get paid with a gift card, an Amazon card, or you might get paid with a Best Buy gift card. I mean, it depends. Like if you're doing product research for Best Buy, they may pay you with a gift card. But they also do sometimes do cash payments through PayPal. One of the things I did find as I was researching this is that you're definitely, if you're under 18, and you're wanting to do business online or try to generate some income online, you're probably going to want to set up a PayPal account. A lot of sites seem to use PayPal as a common denominator. So anyway, Swagbucks definitely gets my vote for under 18. In fact, I'm going to tell my kids about it. The next one is Survey Junkie. And Survey Junkie, as you might expect, is specifically focused on getting paid to take surveys. I did a little bit of looking at Swagbucks or Survey Junkie in terms of the actual surveys themselves. And it looks like Survey Junkie has probably more opportunity just within the survey niche. Like the surveys are more in depth, surveys can pay more, but they don't have the variety of stuff that Swagbucks does. Definitely checked out for me, seems like a reputable site. They also pay with gift cards or through PayPal as well. So like I said, definitely get yourself a PayPal account. Next thing that I found is actually it's not so much a site as an idea or a basic concept, which is like learn some skills. And this is one of the biggest things that I see. I have two teenagers and a daughter who's almost a teenager. And so their friends are over and I listen to them and I talk to them and I realize like there's so many young people now that have skills that older people need. So, things that younger people, a lot of teenagers take for granted, like understanding social media, just having fluency with computers, being able to just feel comfortable with technology. And in particular, if you have any skills around anything to do with like web design or even like installing software, for example, is a thing that a lot of older people struggle with. And like, young people do it all the time, right? You're constantly installing plugins or modules for your games or whatever. These skills translate into real world value because frankly, most of the people out there who own business owners, most of the people out there who have money to pay you if you're younger are older people that didn't grow up with the same exposure to technology that you did. So my kids, friends and such, they take these jobs, they go work at, Little Caesars, or they work at the grocery store, they make basically minimum wage and, come home smelling like fryer grease. And I'm like, you know how to do things. You could literally just go put your listing on put yourself on Fiverr and say, hey, I'll help you, configure whatever, I'll help you install whatever, or I can, especially if you can create something, anything to do with writing or design. Like I know people that, doodle, they install like Adobe Draw on their iPad and they doodle and they do these designs that are great. And I'm like, why aren't you taking this on Fiverr? You're doing your art as a hobby and then you're spending 20 hours a week while you're in high school working part-time for like $8 an hour to make $160 a week. You could be doing art projects online, designing logos for people for $300 to $500. It'd probably take you a few hours. And you'd make more than you make in 2 weeks at your part-time side job, right? It's just understanding the value of these skills that you have. Again, anything, and writing. If you're a good writer, my son's a really good writer, and I say to him, I'm like, take this skill that gets you, A's in English class, go read a book on copywriting, or you don't even have to read a book on copywriting. It doesn't even have to be sales copy. It's just basically selling the service of saying, hey, I will understand your business and I will write the copy for your website. I will write the copy for your sales brochure. I will write the copy is the term for like written language in business. I'll write the copy, for annual reports, like, whatever. Just that skill itself is so valuable. And I think a lot of young people, sort of the overarching theme here is going to be, look, I'm going to give you like 2 different ways that you can go with this. One is you can find low paying stuff where you can just kind of trade time for money, like with Swagbucks or Survey Junkie, taking surveys, playing games, searching, not doing anything that's too intellectually taxing. And that's the digital equivalent of like going and working at Domino's, right? Or working at McDonald's. Like you trade time, you make money. And again, it's not too intellectually taxing. I would argue that the digital version is probably preferable to the physical version. Maybe say, oh, well, physical version has benefits or insurance or something, whatever. I can't pick apart everybody's life, but I can say that, as somebody who's made a lot of money sitting at his computer, it beats most things that you have to do in this world to go make money. And frankly, the skills that you learn here tend to lead to other opportunities much, much greater than going and working physical jobs. That is the biggest paradigm shift that I am trying to impart to people, especially to young people, is the skills that really your advantage that you already kind of have an edge up on because of just growing up with technology, the skills that live inside your computer and in particular the internet and the social media platforms, those skills can translate into so much money in the real world that, for anybody that watches this video and really takes this to heart, I can tell you this, you could never have to work a quote real job as long as you live. You could have a very good quality of life and have more freedom and flexibility than most people even have when they retire 40 years later, just by learning these skills and actually getting started early on converting them into business, into opportunity in the marketplace through sites like Fiverr is kind of the big one. There's Freelancer, there's some other ones, but just start with Fiverr, Fiverr, 2 R's.com. Figure out some skill that you have that's technical and sell it to people who maybe own a business but are less technical. And the next thing is I mean, I guess this is kind of obvious, but one thing I see as kids grow up is, they're always kind of cycling through stuff like what you were into when you were 10, you're not so into when you're 13. What you were into when you're 13, you're not so into by the time you're 15. So if you're 16, 17, 18, you've probably got stuff that you were into when you were 10 or 12 or 14, and maybe it's in the attic, maybe it's in the basement, maybe it's shoved under your bed. Sell it. Sell it on Craigslist, sell it on eBay. Don't hoard. There's no need to keep all that stuff. Let your parents skim through it and say, hey, mom or dad, look, is there anything nostalgic that you want to keep just to remember me by? Like maybe my original Pokemon figurine or whatever. And then can we sell the rest of this crap? Because I need some spending money, or I want to go, sign up for a course on how to do the Adobe Creative Suite because I want to learn the skills so that I can go list myself on Fiverr or Upwork and start making more money. Like, basically it's about adopting grown-up thinking even while you're young. That's kind of a big piece of it. So yeah, sell some stuff. It's not doing you any good just sitting there. And if you are creative from like graphically, artistically, Redbubble and Cafe Press are two sites where you can basically get paid to create designs for apparel, and people will literally buy shirts or hats or whatnot and with your logo, with your graphics, and you get paid. You get paid every time. And so essentially they have a marketplace where you can list your designs, and then people purchase apparel that have your designs on them. So again, you got to have some sort of like visual creativity skills with that, but it's really, really cool. In fact, Amazon actually has a program called Amazon Merch, and they tend to open and close a lot. So I would say get your feet wet with Redbubble or Cafe Press, but if you get really good at it, explore the Amazon Merch program. I know some guys that have done really, really well with that. And then finally, and this may surprise you, if you find yourself to be naturally articulate and being a good communicator, there's a lot more money for younger people in phone-based jobs, phone-based communication jobs, than in like retail or counter-based communication jobs. Like standing in a counter, here's your pizza, sir, have a nice day. Standing in a counter, this is the perfume for the latest season. Unless actually working in a mall kiosk, that's probably a different one. In that case, you can get paid really well. And there are mall kiosks that'll employ underage people. But one of the cool things, if you just go on the job sites like Indeed or Monster, you can actually find listings for jobs that specifically hire people that are under 18. And there's some work from home. In particular, there are some work from home like customer service and even light sales jobs that you can do that are phone-based, where all you have to do is buy like a headset. You can probably use your gaming headset, and you dial through voice over internet. So it's just a website you log into, and you go active in the dialer, and your calls will come through, and you can do customer service. I know, for example, that U-Haul, the company that, trailers and moving trucks and storage and stuff, they actually will employ home-based customer service, call center customer service that they can work from home starting at 16 years old. And again, those jobs are typically going to pay a lot more than like the kinds of things you can do where you can go work in a store as a teenager. And then finally, become a content creator. A lot of people, obviously, you probably know PewDiePie, and you probably know Logan Paul, and you probably know Danny Duncan. You see these guys, and there's a tendency, I think, to take these people that have been doing it for years and that have reached these levels and say, well, they're so far out there that there's this giant gap between them and me. And because that gap is so giant, it means there's nothing in it for me. Well, I'm going to encourage you. I've been making YouTube videos, just YouTube, in terms of monetizing content, for about a year. And frankly, I have a long way to go to meet the goals that I have for this channel. But for a teenager, I've been doing this for a year. And here's the thing. It's a lot easier for teenagers to create content that has virality, that gets shared, and that ultimately converts into what YouTube wants, which is eyeballs that they can monetize. It's a lot easier for a teenager to do that, talking about the stuff that teens talk about. And I mean, again, I've seen this because I have teenagers and I see what they're into, and they're always sharing everything, than it is for a 40-year-old business guy talking about entrepreneurship and personal development to get traction with the stuff that I'm doing. Because frankly, the people that I'm talking to, other than maybe this video because it's targeted to teens, they're busy or they're working and they're less prone to content sharing. So frankly, if I was 16 years old, I would be a lot further along than I am after just a year. And I'm already, even for where I am, making enough money right now on YouTube with this channel that most teenagers, it would replace any part-time job that most teenagers are working and then some. Basically, through a year of consistent creation of content for something that's not inherently that viral or prone to sharing, I'm generating enough money through my YouTube channel that if I were a teenager, I would be making more than any of my friends who have part-time jobs. And it would go exponentially faster for you as a teen to just focus on teen-oriented content, the kind of stuff that you're probably already focused on anyways. So I strongly encourage you to embrace potentially becoming a content creator. If you've watched this far, my guess is you're a teenager, so I'm gonna encourage you to more generally just tune into my channel. I am focused on having an awesome life. I'm focused on non-traditional ways to get there, not the stuff you're learning in schools. You can probably derive a lot of value from some of my videos. Go ahead and subscribe if you would. Make sure when you do, you click the bell to get notified as I release new videos, and I will keep talking about how to make it an awesome life. Thanks for your time.